Hello guys, we'll see what is bound actions and unbound actions today. So bound actions is inbuilt actions which are on the API pages, the Business Central. So we can call them what is bound actions. We'll see. So this is an just an example of on the sales order page, on the sales order API page. There's a bound action called ship and invoice. So whenever user wants to call this bound actions, they can simply uh, add this at the end of the endpoint with whatever the sales order if they want to post it. So just they have to append this bound actions so that it will post that particular sales order. So bound actions are always be on the API pages. So the bound actions, how we can define it. So for this service enabled attribute, so we have we can define our own custom bound actions. Only thing is we have to create a procedure and we have to add this attribute. So it will become a bound action. So we'll see how we can call this from the postman. So here you can see the example. So I'm calling post method with the endpoint. Um, I'm calling the sales order. I have to add the which sales order I want to post it. Slash Microsoft dot nav dot ship and invoice. So when you call this, it will post this particular sales order and we will get a result as 204 with no content, which means that uh, we have posted the sales order from the postman itself. So we'll see in postman how it will look. So this is the bound actions currently I'm in, and we'll see how we can post one sales order. For example, I don't know which sales order I want to post it, so I'll just remove these things for time being, and I'll get the sales order list from here. So this is the endpoint. I'm just sending it. I'll get the list of sales orders in the business central in the particular company. So what I have to do is I have to replace this with particular sales order I want to post it. So I want to post this sales order. Note this 1002. Okay, so I'm just changing to post method, just saving it. I'm just posting it. So backend system posted this APA, system posted this sales order, and if you can see the status as 204. So what are all the uh, standard bound actions available on the sales orders? We'll see that, right? So I'm in the API version 2.0 for Business Central. So if you come down and if you go to sales orders, click on the sales order, then you can see which are all the methods you can call it, as we already know this, and the bound actions. If you notice here, we have ship and invoice, which means Microsoft.nav.ship and invoice. We have to call this bound actions to post it. So in the sales order, we have only one bound actions. For example, if I go to sales invoice entity, we can see multiple bound actions. Say for example, cancel and send. So cancel, make corrective credit memo, post and send. So these are all the bound actions are available on the sales invoice API. So for example, yeah, I want to create my own bound actions. What I have to do is I have to take a copy of the API page and I'll show it here. So I have to create a page, normal page, and I have to add whatever the functionality I want to add it, and I have to add service enabled um, attribute. So this becomes my bound action. This become copy is my bound action. This is a method we are calling from the API. So what we have to do is, after creating this page, we have to publish this page in a web services. Then we will get a URL. That URL we have to add it, and at the end we have to add nav dot copy. Copy is my bound action. So we can define our own custom bound actions as well by using service enabled attribute. So now we will see what is unbound actions. So unbound actions is not particularly bounded to any particular entity. For example, bound action is particularly with a sales order or with a sales invoice. So unbound action is not particularly bounded to any actions. So which means that we have to create a coordinate, and we have to publish that coordinate, and we will have one function in that. In here we will not add a service enabled attribute. We will see how it will work. So the main purpose of this bound action is to import a multiple records, or import, suppose for example, import a multiple customers into business central from API, or import a multiple sales orders. Means sales order means sales header and sales lines in a single request. So this things we cannot do it from the standard API. So to overcome that, we will use unbound actions. What is unbound actions? We'll see. So action is not bounded to any particular entity, allows to create a multiple records or a multiple documents in a single request. This is the main important thing. So from the standard API, we cannot create a multiple records with a single request. So suppose for example I want to create 5 customers, which means I have to from my application I have to send 5 times. I have to send a post request to Business Central so that it will create a 5 customers. So for with the unbound actions we can do it with a single request itself. So what we have to do is we have to create a coordinate with a procedure and whatever the logic you want to add it, and publish that coordinate as a web service. So for example, in my case, I have added a coordinate. Customer management is my coordinate name. So added a service name as a customers, and I just published it. So in case if you don't have permission to publish, or suppose for example you have created a 10 coordinates, 10 pages, API pages you want to publish on the web services. So basically, whenever you are developing the service name, you use this service name while sending a request. So while replicating this data into in customer database or into live database, it will be difficult. So you just need to add an XML in your extension like this. So exported data, tenant web service collections. Within this nodes, you add a tenant web services. What is an object type? Object ID, service name, and published. So if you have a multiple coordinates or multiple pages, then just copy this tenant web services and add it, so that when you just install this extension, it automatically creates a record in web services page with published equal to true. So I created a coordinate which I've said before. So customer management, I've added a function insert customer. Notice here I don't have service enabled attribute. So customers is my parameter as a text. So these are all the JSON variables to read it. Yes, to read and to insert into Business Central. So I'm just checking the customer is null or whether it is in blank array. So I'll throw up an error. If not, I'm reading it from the customer and reading it into token as an array, and mm, uh, each object from a token I'm reading it as an object, and reading in each node in this function create customer. So this is down and there is a function hidden here. So what I'm doing is I'm reading the each JSON nodes and updating into customer table. That's it. This is just a simple example. So notice here is one major thing is, so we must have customers, and the request which I'm getting from the other party, for example from the postman, it must be same. So no, it should be case sensitive, and yeah, notice here it's a double quotes, which means I'm accepting as a text. So within this double quotes I have to add multiple customers while sending it to business central. So request body must consist of customers, which I said as in the parameter of the function. Request body can have one or more customers between the double quotes as an escaped JSON. So escape JSON. This is, we are not sending as a normal JSON. We are sending as escaped JSON. What is escaped JSON? We will say it. So this is our normal JSON file. You can see it here. It's an array, and within these braces we have two objects, one customer and second customer. So what are all the important fields? We will add it for each customer. This is normal JSON file looks like. How escape JSON file looks like? So it's also JSON file, whereas it will have a escaped character between, sorry, before double quotes. So you can see it here, all the escaped slash escaped character before double quotes. So this becomes my escaped JSON. So you just need to copy this and place it in between the double quotes. So how I can convert normal JSON into escape JSON? It's very simple. You just need to copy the normal JSON into Notepad and replace the double quotes with escaped double quotes. That's a simple way. Or what I'll follow is I'll open a JSON viewer, and I'll add the JSON text, which is normal JSON text, and click on remove white spaces, which is shown here. So this is my normal JSON file, and I'll copy this and I'll click on this remove white space. It will be like it will remove the white spaces, and the result looks like this. So I'll just copy this JSON and open either code beautifier or online JSON tool, any of the tool. So the tool, and just paste the copied text from the previous step, which is this copied text. Once you paste it, then automatically escape JSON will form like this. You just need to copy into clipboard, and that's it. So you have your escaped JSON. So you can see it here. All the escaped characters are added before the double quotes. So unbound actions, or we can call it, means just mean once we publish the code unit as a web services, we have to call in this syntax, which is this one. For example, ap.businesscentral.com. This is my uh, tenant ID, and this is my environment name, and www slash customers underscore insert customer. Customers is my service name underscore insert customer. This is my procedure name. So make sure we enter properly. Then the company details. So for example, Docker container, or for the on-premises, we have to add a tenant equal to default and the company. So how it looks like in the postman. So we have to add a post, and this is my endpoint. Notice here I added a customers underscore insert customer, and in the body I've added a customers. Between these double quotes I've added a escaped JSON string. Okay, so system will read this escaped string as a text, and it will insert a multiple customer based on the JSON object. And if everything goes good, we will get a status as 200, and I've added this as in my coordinate, so it's returning me how many customers are created in Business Center. So you can add either like this, or you can convert the escape JSON by using a notepad and just paste it in between the double quotes as I shown before here. So both will work same. Okay. This is one more important thing. Means whenever we are developing an unbound actions, so escape JSON string, really creating a customers, we should know how to debug things because it may result into multiple errors. So the thing is, in the launch.json, we have two options: launch and attach. Launch is to publish the changes to Business Central. Attach is to debug the previously published changes. What is these two options? Where I can see this? I will show it. Whenever you are making some changes, you just need to keep as a launch and publish it. And whenever you want to debug it, just change it to attach and just press F5. It won't open the browser, whereas it will open in the debugger mode. Now in the VS Code, you can see it here. The request property having a launch and request property having attach. So whenever you want to publish it, just make it to launch and publish it. Whenever you want to debug it, just make it to attach and debug it, and just then press F5, which it will not going to publish it, whereas it will open in debugger mode. So from Postman, if you send a request, unbound action request, then if you get any error, it will throw up and it will stop that. It's very important feature. So we'll see in the example now how we can do it. So before going for demo, I just want to show customer management coordinate. So this is my coordinate. I have a function called insert customer. I'm taking customers as text. I'm just checking whether it is null or not. Otherwise, it will throw an error. I'm just doing a loop of each um, array tokens, and I'm calling this create customer function by passing a J object, which means there's an object. What I'm doing is init, and I'm just inserting the customer as I want to fetch the number series for the customer. So by using a JSON object, I'm taking what is my display name and J token, for example. So I'm calling this function, which is this J object, field key, and J token. So here I'm getting J object dot get field key, which is this one, from J token, uh, getting into J token, so it will pass it into here. uh, if not get, then means if it will get from the JSON object, then it will pass it into JSON token. So the same JSON token, I'm using it as a value, as a text. So I'm reading it into name, and the same way for all the fields. I've declared each node in as a label. So for example, display name. So whatever the name which we are passing from the third party application, so from the Postman, the same name I'm using it. So I'm just set lock equal to true, so I don't want to set this into so translation file. So just locking it, so it must be same as it is. So whatever the field I'm getting from there, same text I'm using it. So I can directly pass it here. So for a standard, I set it as a label and I'm using the same thing. So in this function, I'll read that value of display name into JS token, and from J token I'm reading and assigning it back to customer name. The same goes for other set of fields, and at the end I'm modifying the customer, sending the customer number. So customer number, I'm adding it to customer list, and I'm just sending that list of customers back to Postman. So you can either you can form a JSON, which whatever the objects, whatever the customers got created, you can add it within this loop itself, and you can form the JSON and you can send JSON back to customer. For a simple purpose, I'm just sending the number of customers uh, using the string number of customers created in Business Central. So we'll see how it looks in the slide. So let's see how we can convert the JSON into escape JSON. So this is my simple customer list. So multiple customers I'm importing. So I can just search for double quotes and I can add escape character before this. So replace all. So this becomes my escape JSON. So we can do it like this. So it's easier to you. So what I usually do is which I shown in my demo. So I'm just copy this. If it is a smaller one, you can do like that. You sometimes you will get an error if escape character is not added properly. So preferably I'll go for conversion like this. So search for JSON viewer and go for this and just paste the JSON file and click on remove white space, copy this, and you can go for like this online JSON tools, and if for next one click on escape JSON, so which was already added previously, just paste it, it will convert that into escape JSON. So just copy this and go to Postman, and what you need to do is just remove this. So the request must consist of customers as a parameter, and value must be in the string, which is like this. Okay, so this is my escape JSON string. So I'm just sending a request. What it will do, it will create a customers in the Business Central. So I'm just returning as a value as two customers are created. The same way you can do creation of multiple sales orders or sales invoices. I have an example for that. So sales invoice hero. So you can see it here. It's a very huge one. So what I created is I've created a coordinate and I published that coordinate as a sales invoice as my service name, and insert sales invoice is my function name. So as I said, documents is the parameter in that coordinate. We'll see that how it looks like. So this is my coordinate. So insert sales invoice and see here documents as my parameter. That's and it will this coordinate accepts documents as its text. So this is what between these double quotes I have to add a multiple sales order including lines. You can see it. This is we have two invoices with multiple lines here. So just passing this and it will create a multiple sales invoices. Thank you.